does, because his 6-year-old is currently beating our resident sports guy,
I'm a crush coach for a moment, just because, and I hope the kids are listening, to the son that's 9, for about 30 seconds their coach thought you were still 6. Because the coach don't have a 6-year-old, right?
He told me he was 6.
That's true, but my 6-year-old won the San Francisco 49ers bracket when he was 6. Yeah, this is his second round.
Got it. His son is currently winning the FS1 right now.
And what are you? You're
I'm not winning.
84th?
I'm not winning. Oh, wow, that was funny to people in the back.
Let's talk basketball with Nick Wright.
What's your son called Nick? They changed his name?
Nick Wrong.
Oh, that's
Nick
great.
Wrong.
Never heard that one for 33 years. Can we talk about Kirk Cousins?
He's 9.
Talk Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins arrived in Minnesota yesterday with 84 million reasons to be happy. That's the number of dollars coming his way. Cousins made every start last season and threw for more than 4,000 yards in each of the past 3 seasons. He also almost walked into that camera. To add that kind of production to a team that made it to the NFC Championship last season is really what the Vikings fans are hoping they'll get in their first Super Bowl appearance in over 40 years. Here is Kirk Cousins.
You know, I look forward to playing here. As, you know, Rick said yesterday, you know, this is a lifetime deal. You know, that's the goal. You know, yes, it's a 3-year deal, but the expectation is from both sides that, you know, we'd raise our kids here and that, you know, if everything goes as planned, that I'd be here a long, long time.
Coach, we brought up this concept of Super Bowl or bust now with this Minnesota Vikings. What do the Vikings need to do to consider this signing a success? Is it get to the Super Bowl?
Yeah.
Win the Super Bowl?
Yes.
Awesome. Thanks for being here.
It is absolutely that. To whom much is given, much is expected. And I love the fact that he says it's a lifetime deal. Then if that's the case, why does it need to be fully guaranteed? And why does it need to be only 3 years? So when you sign a deal like this and you come to a team that has as many advantages as Minnesota has and has been as productive as they've been while navigating through multiple injuries and different quarterback situations, yeah, you need to go there and you need to win the Super Bowl, and you need to be in a position for the next 3 years to do that as well. Otherwise, it's not.
Wow, I am rarely the more, when it comes to opinions between Coach and I, rarely am I the more measured one, but I think I might be on this one. I think it's unfair to say the expectation is to win the Super Bowl. I think the expectation for this to be a success, at least in my eyes, is for them to be in the position they were in last year, where they are one of the very best teams in the league, where on the second to last weekend of the year, they're still around, and they have a shot, because in one-game tournaments, you know, one-game samples, crazy things happen. By the way, the Vikings got to where they were was kind of a crazy thing against New Orleans with the Minneapolis Miracle. Like, I don't think, if the Vikings go 12-4 and make the NFC Championship next year and lose, I think that is a successful season.
But they did that with the guy they just got rid of.
I understand that. But I think that they signed this guy to duplicate or do better than, but not much better than what Case Keenum did. I just think they didn't know Case could duplicate that performance.
You're exactly right. He doesn't have to do much better than last year. He has to win 2 more games.
Okay.
Yeah, that's not much better. You signed a ridiculously big deal that's fully guaranteed, that changes the way contracts are viewed. Yeah, go and win the Super Bowl. You've got a great team. You've got a great opportunity. Go prove that you're the guy that you say you are.
But I know this starts at the top. And I know what the expectations of the Will family. They're a family from the Jersey area. They grew up going to Giants games for years and years and years. They knew that they would never, ever be able to own the New York Football Giants. So the best thing that they could do, they finally got an opportunity to purchase an NFL team. They purchased the Minnesota Vikings. And since they have been there, they have been in search of a franchise quarterback. The one thing I can guarantee you, we're going to run out of breath before the Wilfs run out of money. And the way they do things is first class. Everything that they've seen in the New York Football Giants, they are trying to duplicate. How's the team built? It's built through the draft. What about the consistency as far as a coach? They're going to hang in there with Zimmer. Rick Spielman, man, as long as he keeps doing this, he's got a lifetime contract with the Vikings. So the Vikings have been structured. They got a new stadium approved there, got it built, had a Super Bowl there. They have a new practice facility. They just opened a state-of-the-art. That they believe them in Dallas, they have the 1 and 2 best practice facilities in. So for me, the theme has been, Nick, you saw last year, Man, they do anything. They sent their private plane for me just to go to Minnesota, just to be there for the game. This ownership is in search of a championship, and Kirk Cousins is the final piece. They've drafted well. They've spent the right amounts of money on the right players in free agency. Man, they have everything set up there. This is a franchise that's been to 4 Super Bowls, and being one of the guys who play there, I know what their goals are. No, it is not to get to the NFC Championship. Coach, you are right. It is to get beyond where Case Keenum took them last year, but also they want a guy who can be the face of their franchise for the next 5 to 7 years, and that's what they have in Kirk Cousins, and that's their overall investment.
And Chris makes a really important point. There's a lot of owners that don't give you the advantages that the Wolves have given that organization, whether it's the stadium, the practice facility, the finances to go get free agents.
We couldn't even entertain free agents the way we do now because we didn't have the facility.
If people don't know, when you were there, it was different ownership. It was
different ownership, but also the facilities have been the same. They've been outdated for a long time. So in free agency, man, Kirk Cousins was shocked when he got there. People that participate in the Super Bowl, utilizing the Vikings facility, like they were shocked how nice it is there in Minneapolis. So now they have that caveat that other teams have. Great facilities.
Yeah, and so when you take away, you're taking away every possible excuse to be successful. And that team was extremely successful before Kirk Cousins got there. That team accommodated Kirk in everything that he asked for his contract. So now it's his responsibility to go and say, I'm holding up my end of the bargain. This is why you brought me here. We're going to win this year, and then we're going to be poised to win every single year that I'm here.
Nick, now they have the ability. What if the defense does not play well? What if the special teams get off to a slow start? The same thing they did in Philadelphia. Now they have the firepower of a quarterback who is not trying to manage the game, that they can take an aggressive approach and try to win games that way. Because you have to be able to try to win games a little bit different than how they've done it the last 3 years.
So if you guys say that this team is now primed for the Super Bowl or winning the Super Bowl, let's just talk about the team a little bit. Is there now a weak part of this team? Has Kirk Cousins sort of shored up that last remaining hole?
I mean, I look at them, and I thought last year they were the most complete team in football, right? I think the one thing that they would like to get better at is the offensive line. I mean, you look at it, they have all-pro players at each level of their defense, D-line, linebackers, and secondary. They don't have a superstar wide receiver, but they have 2. They have a great duo of wide receivers. I think Kyle Rudolph's a good tight end. I like the running back in Dalvin Cook, like assuming he comes back. And now they got the quarterback. Offensive line, they would want to get a little bit better. But I just want to go back to the Super Bowl thing real quick. And maybe I'm scarred by the fact that I believe the 2 best football teams I've ever seen in my life didn't win the Super Bowl. I know you think that's crazy to say, but I believe Chris's 98 Vikings and the 07 Pats are the 2 best teams over a large sample that I'd ever seen.
History would tell you those 2 of the best offenses, but we had huge defensive
deficiencies,
huge defensive liability.
And maybe in my mind's eye, I'm partial to the high-scoring, high-flying offenses, but they were teams that were 16-1 and what was it, 18-0 going into the games they ended up losing. I just think in football you can do everything right and still get unlucky. So we're not even mentioning Philly. Philly did win the championship, and they have an MVP-level quarterback coming back, and they added pieces. Like, I just think the expectation for any team being Super Bowl or bust is a level higher than I would be willing to go.
I understand that completely, but we're talking about a team that was in the NFC Championship last year, that has good support personnel at every position, and much better than that, they have stars at a lot of positions. They have the best facilities, arguably the best facilities in the league. They've got an owner that's willing to do whatever he needs to do financially to support the organization. Yeah, you go in and you demand contract that's fully guaranteed over 3 years.
I don't know.
Tell me a better roster.
Philly's got an argument, but I think it's Minnesota and Philly.
That's the only. So what are the expectations in Philadelphia?
So again, I wouldn't say next year for Philadelphia. I think the expectations for Philly are to be in that Final Four. I think the expectations for Minnesota to be in that Final Four. But again, I
heard Doug Peterson at the parade say we coming back.
Okay. Yeah.
So that seemed like a goal to me.
Well, it's Doug's word, obviously. Coach, stick around. Coming up, the Raiders reloaded, but can they reclaim their status as contenders next? First things first.